Hey guys, Beast here, and welcome back to our Struggle into Masters, which is our series where we just look at a few games to see what we did right and wrong and how we can improve. Now, in this first game, this is our last game in our series to Diamond 2. We are 1-1, and I wanted to pick Olaf because I knew what I was laning against, and I knew that because of our team comp, we didn't really have much to kill the Lux, so my theory behind this pick was that even if I don't do the best in lane, I can still at least run at the Lux because Lux just doesn't really have the damage to kill an Olaf unless she's extremely fed. So I was feeling pretty confident going into this. Now, I do get level 3 ganked by Sejuani, but she goes like way too deep, and then Pantheon comes in and we're able to pick up a really free kill. Now, I think that I definitely could have snowballed my lead a lot harder if I would have gotten that kill, but obviously we were just trying to kill him as fast as we could because obviously since it was low level, everybody had flash up still. But fortunately, Riven actually DCs here and we pick up a free kill, which puts us at 1-0-1. Now we should definitely snowball off this, but I was half health and she went on me, and she actually had really good animation canceling and fucked me up pretty hard. And then I knew she was in this brush, but for some reason I didn't try to fight and I just tried to run away, and because she was so good at animation canceling, she actually ended up killing me, and just in that short span of time she did 600 damage, as you could see, which was kind of insane. But here I was just monkeying out because I was so tilted from dying those other 2 times that I just wanted to int another kill because it was my promos, so I figured it best that I int instead of my team. So I tried to go bot because Tristana and Rakan were doing really well for themselves. So they went to the top lane to deal with Riven and they actually killed her. But then because I'm trash, I just ended up feeding their bot lane. But I did end up TPing back and getting myself a kill, which kind of puts me back in the game. But because I got so far behind in this game, all I really tried to do for a lot of the time was just split push and be a nuisance to people and make people have to come deal with me. And preferably I would rather hope that Riven comes to stop my split push, because she was actually the one person in this game that actually could have won the game for them. So if I was split pushing and distracting her, then it was just an easy win for my team. But it turns out Tristana was like so fed out of her mind that it doesn't even matter. And then I thought I was being pretty sneaky here, but really Riven just DC'd again, and she probably saw me coming, but then DC'd so quickly that she didn't have any time to react, so that was pretty fortunate of us. And Tristana picks up another kill. Here I actually did something somewhat useful, and I engaged for the Pantheon so that he didn't just get bursted down immediately when he came down with his ult. And we actually pick up 4 kills. Eventually, we finally chase the Lux down. But because of that play, we were actually able to get Infernal Drake and the Baron, which at that point in the game it just put us way too far ahead and there wasn't really anything they could do. Now the thing about this game, which actually kind of made it really annoying, is Heimerdinger just kept trying to surrender because he was just tilted out of his mind, and I think it's really stupid when people are just trying to constantly surrender because it does demoralize your team and just make them not want to play that hard. But thankfully, because Tristana went something ridiculous like 18-0, we end up winning our promo games, getting us into Diamond 2. So thankfully that we were just bad enough that we could get carried by an 18-0 Tristana. Now in our first game in D2, surprisingly but not really, we get autofilled to jungle, and I thought that I would just camp this top lane, or at least that's what my theory was, because it had a Nautilus, and obviously Nautilus can lock down Yasuo very well. So that was my theory, but every time I tried to gank top, Rumble was like always there. I'm not sure if that was just me being bad or if he was just being good, but yeah, I kind of just died a lot because of it. And not only did I screw over myself, but I also screwed over our team, because this game actually was quite winnable because our Tristana got a really good advantage in the bot lane, but because I did so bad with pressuring in the top and mid lane, and Rumble did so well, it kind of screwed over our whole team because we were a late game comp with 2 tanks and a fed Tristana, but yeah, since I just really didn't know what in the fuck I was doing in the jungle, I just got absolutely shit on, and I take complete responsibility for this game. This was 100% my fault, the reason we lost this. If I just would have known a bit more about the basics of counter jungling, then I wouldn't have gotten counter jungled so hard and counter ganked so hard, and we actually would have had a chance to win, but because of that we lose the game. And actually we don't lose any LP because we had just gotten in to Diamond 2, so it was basically just a cushion loss. Now in our next game we get to play Darius because I knew he was picking Renekton, so I thought that I could counter him in lane and kill him, but then the minions blocked me just barely enough to where I don't get my last Q on him and kill him, and I actually would have killed him there because he didn't have flash, so he didn't have any escape, and I should have just Q'd sooner and flashed, but because I'm bad I didn't, and then I end up dying to Kha'Zix a bit later. But thankfully once every 4 years our jungler does come top, and we do actually get a kill on the Renekton, which also lets us get first tower, which is really good because Lee Sin was kind of the playmaker of our team. There wasn't many other people that could do it aside from Echo, and because of their team comp it was very easy to stop him if he did try and engage. Now here I thought that we could kill Cassiopeia because of my damage and because of Echo's damage, but Echo wasn't able to catch up to her because she was ghosted, so then I end up dying and then I end up getting him killed. But thankfully the rest of our team did get out and they didn't die like off of my stupid plays, which is something I definitely need to work on. But then we go back to the mid lane, and this guy must have been like retarded or had some kind of mental disability because he was playing Ezreal, and if you play Ezreal in this meta it just means you're semi-retarded or you have autism. And we win that small 3v3. Now in the next clip we do actually have a full out fight, but nobody really does anything because the only damage that they have is from Cassiopeia, and you can see that that's really the only person who damaged anybody aside from Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix was their only other real damage aside from Cassiopeia, but since he wasn't a consistent damage dealer and he's more of an assassin and can't just jump into team fights, then he just got kind of destroyed right when he finally did jump in. But then because of how fed my team was with Lee Sin and Jhin, we just kind of ran down bot and ended the game. Now I think that I definitely could have played lane a little better, but it doesn't really end up mattering because my team got so fed and they carried me. Now obviously I will look at this game to try and improve and get better, but for now I'm just going to enjoy the free win and pick up our 17 LP, which was graciously gifted to me by my team. But in our next game it's a new day and we have our shirt off, so that means we are try-harding. We play Nautilus, and this actually turned out to be a 50-minute game of one team constantly throwing to the next, which made it very stressful, and I'm crazy as fuck, so I love stressful situations, so I loved this game. Now I was against a Vladimir who unfortunately took exhaust in a lane that he already won, so not only was I already at a disadvantage because of the champion, but now I also had to worry about him using exhaust while I was in the middle of lane, so for a lot of that game I really just had to sit under tower, otherwise he would have just crushed me. Now here we finally get a ganked, and I was asking for ganks this whole game because Vlad was pushed up the entire game, as obviously he would be in this lane, but then Elise just never came top because she always ended up very weak when she actually did make it to the top lane. But then she actually does land a cocoon on the Tristana, and I do my job as a brainless tank and I tank the tower. Well, she picks up a double kill and we get a kill on the Tristana. Now, in this next clip we do get another pick on the Zillion, but because Vlad was just so fed, he ends up coming back in this team fight and wrecking our team, and I pull off of him because I see Bard struggling with the Soraka and the Lee Sin, so I try to go help him out, but yeah, then Vlad just turns on the Zed and the Elise, and then they both die. We definitely would have won that fight though if Caitlyn was there, but since she wasn't, she was off like farming top and taking golems, which is why she was so low, then we actually just kind of died. And you can blame that on us, but it was also kind of her fault because we expected her to come up, but then we just didn't have the map awareness to realize that she wasn't coming up to help us, even though it was a really clear and obvious fight. But then we do get a good fight here, and we do pick up 3 kills, and then we actually pick up another 3 kills here, just because they would constantly invade our jungle when they didn't have any vision, which was definitely one of their biggest mistakes. But since Vladimir was once again just so fed in this game, it was really difficult to have to deal with him. And even though it was a 5v2, 2 of us still ended up dying just because Vlad was so strong. Now in this next clip, we were just taking the Windrake, and I thought we could fight it, but then I missed my hook because I was trying to hook the Vladimir because he was the biggest threat, and because of that he just flashed over into the backline and then destroyed our backline. But nothing happens for a while, so then we just take the Baron again, and Tristana was actually pushing our base, which is why we were able to take the Baron so easily, because Vlad was also dead, so they really didn't have any other damage. But then she does end up dying because she just stays way too long. Now, since we had the Baron, we obviously wanted to push down mid, so after we got the pick on her, that's what we started doing. And because Soraka was just trying to be too much of a hero, then she also dies trying to save the Zilean. And for some reason, I just didn't register that Lee Sin was there and we had killed him. So I thought we were just going to turn on the Vlad, but then I realized we were all way too weak. And we do all end up backing out and getting out. Now, I think we could have killed all of them if Zed would have been there. But he was doing Dragon, which we told him not to do, but then he did anyway. And now I had to TP in here because I had to back because the minions were pushing down mid into our base. And it wasn't the fact that this was just a bad fight, because it was a fine fight, but Vlad got a 4-man ultimate, which kind of just screwed us over so hard. And Tristana actually would have gotten the pentakill if Bard wouldn't have had flash. So it's a good thing he had flash, otherwise they probably just would have pushed down mid and end the game. Now, Vlad goes way too deep here without his team able to back him up, because what they had been doing for a lot of the game was just having Zilean ult Vlad so that he would get 2 lives. But since he just went way too deep, he wasn't able to get that second life. Otherwise, he probably would have killed us all and ended the game. But luckily, he didn't, and we stay alive a little longer. Now, I have to TP in again here because I had to go bot because of the minions split pushing again way too hard, and we almost won this fight. It kind of just teeter-tottered for a while, but then Zed goes on the Soraka and he does get a kill on her, but I think it would have been more worth it to go for the Trist and then try and pick up the kill on Soraka. And normally that wouldn't work, but he was super fed in this game. I know at one point he was 8-0, and we were really relying on him to carry, but he started throwing and then we had to fall back on Caitlyn and Elise to do all the damage. But surprisingly, Bard actually stepped up as well, and he got a rapid fire cannon, and he ended up doing like a lot of damage. Now, they tried to go for like a desperation end because we were ahead this entire game, but we just got out compositioned so hard that it made fighting very, very difficult for us, which is why we struggled so much in this game. But then we pick off the Vladimir off an Elise cum shot, and then we are able to pick up the kill on Tristana and get Lee Sin, and then we also pick off Soraka because Bard makes a tunnel over, which is basically GG because we had an open inhibitor in the bot lane and they end up 5-man surrendering, and I'm just celebrating to all fuck in the webcam because I was just so happy I won this game, because if you put 50 minutes into a game, it's really disappointing to come out and have it a loss. But we won, we get another 16 LP, and we are that much closer to getting into Diamond 1 and then hopefully Masters. But that is all for this video, guys. If you did like it, don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe. And if you do have any ideas or requests that you want me to do for a game, I will gladly do that. But until my next video, guys, I will see you later.